Yo, 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 what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another Auditing Africa. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking. All right. So shout out to everybody who is watching. If you guys can hear me okay, make sure that you guys let me know. Throw a thumbs up, radiation emoji, or a flame in the chat. If you can't hear me and the mic sounds not so good, give me a thumbs down or an angry face. And while you guys are doing that, I will acknowledge who is in the building early. All right. Who we got up in here? We got AB Promotions in the house. Shout out to my man AB Promotions. We got Carlton Way up in there. We got Terrence Jackson in the building. We got Carla Lockhart in the building. So we got people over here on YouTube. Shout out to the people on YouTube and shout out to my people over on Rumble. We got my man Mike Goals, Seattle in the house. Shout out to my man Mike Goals. We got Terrence Jackson in the building, and we got my man Gullah Jack Tracks over there on Rumble. So shout out to the people on Rumble. We got 8 people watching. If everybody could bang on that like button, that'd be great. And on YouTube, we got 5 people watching. If everybody could bang on that like button, that would be great. So my question for everybody is, have African nations decided to embrace villainy? Now, let me ask you guys a question. Should they? Would it be justified? Let me know what you guys think. If you ask me, the answer is absolutely. They absolutely should, as I think that we all should. But then again, these are just my opinions, all right? But honestly, Africa is in the best position to be able to embrace villainy because Africa is literally the continent that has all of the resources that are required to make the world go round. And the rest of the world has turned Africa's world upside down. So not only does Africa have the means to do it, they're actually justified to do it, if you ask me. And if you ask me, they're justified to do it as a security mechanism to maintain the safety and integrity of people from Africa and from people with African ancestry worldwide, if you ask me. But it would have to start there. They would have to do it. They got to make the decision. Now, how many people have heard of the way that I feel that Africa should conduct their affairs? National socialize the resources, kick the violators out. If you guys agree with those politics, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree with those politics, give me a thumbs down. Let's talk about if they're moving in that direction or not. And if I miss some comments, I apologize. It's because I'm rushing. I got to be done with this by about 3:15, 3:45 at the latest. So if I'm missing comments and I'm not reading them as often as I do, I apologize in advance for that. I'm not ignoring anybody or anything like that. I'm just kind of in a rush. And depending on how this goes, I might possibly be live again tonight, but it won't be on this channel. You know what I'm saying? But of course, if you watch Rumble or if you watch Twitch or if you watch on Facebook, then you'll get all the notifications. Or if you're in the Discord, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Discord. All right. How many people knew about this? Now, we all know that the government is moving places into the green direction, right? Look at this. Kenya could take the lead in carbon removal. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Is that an emerging industry? That would be amazing. That would be amazing. How many people would love to see an African tariff on coffee beans? If that would be something that would make you happy, give me a thumbs up in the comment section. If it's not something that will make you happy, give me a thumbs down and let me know why you'd be upset about an African coffee bean sanction. That'd be glorious if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? They'd make some money too. Why Kenya could take the lead in carbon removal. Geothermal energy and cheap talent offer a comparative advantage. Cheap talent. So here's my question. If the talent is cheap, do you guys think that anybody's going to be making any money? See, that's the question right there. East Africa's Rift Valley, which runs for thousands of kilometers from the Red Sea to Mozambique, provides a unique window into the evolutionary history of humanity. No comment. The shifting of tectonic plates that formed its deep lakes and sheltered canyons created conditions that first nurtured the ancestors of modern humans, then preserved their bones. Yeah, created conditions that first nurtured the ancestors of modern Africans and their descendants. Other people came from elsewhere and other events. You know what I'm saying? These geological forces may also push open a door to the future by making it possible to capture and store global warming carbon dioxide cheaply from the air. That, at least, is the hope of James Irignu Mgwani, a Kenyan environmentalist and developmental expert who talks of opportunities that could be afforded by what he calls the Great Carbon Valley. Now, I don't know this guy. I don't know too much about him, but sounds good, right? Shout out to my man John Guillory, B1. What's good with it, bro? It sounds good, right? If you guys think that sounds good, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think that it sounds good, give me a thumbs down. I think that this is something that we should pay attention to. Remember, corner the market, raise the price. Corner the market, increase the stakes. Okay? The rift, he argues, has the key attributes that make it attractive for direct air capture stations to suck carbon dioxide from the air, renewable energy potential, and the right geology for storing carbon. Now, wouldn't that be great if he could make some type of air refinery machine and corner the market on the air refinery? And then once the air gets to crazy contaminant pollutant levels, increase the price to European nations of how much it costs to be able to have purification systems. Black person gets killed in America, another $1 million for the purification price a month. Black person gets killed in America, we ran out of tools to do the maintenance. What do you guys think? If you guys like that idea, if you're in favor of that idea, give me a thumbs up. If you're not, then give me a thumbs down. DAC plants need huge amounts of energy, some of this in the form of electricity, which is used to run fans blowing air through or over chemicals that absorb carbon dioxide. Much more energy is needed in the form of heat to make these chemicals belch the gas, which is then compressed for use or for storage. Because the Earth's crust is thinner than usual along the rift, it has vast geothermal potential. So what I want you guys to understand is that the landscape of Africa is even a benefit to the planet. Now, here's my question for you guys. Should anybody else benefit from this? And if anybody should benefit from it, who? If you ask me, this is on the African continent. African people should benefit from it. Other people that want to benefit from it should have to pay a premium. The American government reckons Kenya could alone, look at this, the American government, so you know that they've already been studying and sent missionaries over there to try to Jesus hypnotize people. The American government reckons Kenya alone could generate 10,000 milliwatts of geothermal power, more than 10 times the amount it currently produces. Imagine all that energy. What do you guys think Megatron would say about being able to produce energon cubes if he heard about that? What do you guys think Megatron would do if he heard about that? How many energon cubes you think he could make? A byproduct of such power stations is plenty of waste steam, which can be then used to heat DAC machines. Moreover, since close to 90% of Kenya's power is renewable, the electricity these machines consume does not contribute to more global warming. So imagine that it's automatically naturally efficient. Carlton Way says, I want the all spark. I want the Decepticon Matrix. Remember the Decepticon Matrix? The Autobots had a Matrix, but the Decepticons had one too. You know what I'm saying? Capturing carbon dioxide is just part of the process. Next, it has to safely be locked away. The rift's geology is particularly good for this too. It has bands of porous basalt, a volcanic rock that stretches across thousands of square kilometers. This makes the region ideal for carbon capture and storage, according to a paper published in 2021 by George Otinko Oko and by Lydia Olka, both of the University of Nairobi. Now, this is interesting. Let me ask you guys a question. Have you ever heard of any of these intelligent people? You'd think that these people didn't exist, wouldn't you? Where'd they come from? After carbon dioxide has been sucked from the air, it is dissolved in water, the same way one would make sparkling water. This slightly acidic and bubbly liquid is then injected into the rock. There, it reacts with the basalt to form carbon-rich minerals. In essence, rocks, which means the gas will not leak back into the atmosphere. So the rocks will act like a sponge. The rocks will act like a sponge and suck down all of the water. Or I mean, suck down all of the carbon dioxide. Okay. A similar combination of geothermal energy and volcanic rock has already attracted companies elsewhere. So the vultures are already out. I want you guys to see how quick these people try to move on stuff. You guys see that? You guys see how quickly people try to move on stuff and capitalize on stuff, take advantage of the people that's already there, and then sit there and lie and say that they weren't utilizing it? Let me ask you guys a question. Who are the people that did the studies on this stuff? We see who did the studies. You can tell by the last names who did the studies, right? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys haven't smashed the like button, please take a moment and make sure that you guys smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment and make sure that you guys hit the bell. We got 15 people watching on YouTube. Shout out to the 15 people watching. And we got 9 likes. If everybody could hit that like and take it over 20, that would be great. And shout out to the people watching on Rumble. We got 4 people watching and we got 4 likes. So shout out to everybody. And if you guys haven't hit that like button over there, please make sure that you do. All right. Climework, a Swiss firm, opened the world's biggest DAC plant in Iceland in 2021. It can remove some 4,000 tons of carbon dioxide a year from the atmosphere at a cost of $600 to $800 a ton. Martin Fulmer, the founder of Octavia Carbon, a Kenyan startup, is working to build the world's second biggest DAC plant in Rift Valley. He hopes it will be able to sequester carbon dioxide far more cheaply than Climeworks can, in part thanks to cheap renewable electricity and geothermal steam, and in part because hiring skilled engineers and chemists costs less in Kenya than in the rich world. So now, what do you guys think about that? Again, they're trying to take advantage of the low cost intelligence that's in Kenya. So if you ask me, because there's a demand for those positions, there's a need for that kind of career. Those people in Kenya should demand more income. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. So now here it says Octavia's pilot plant, scheduled for completion next year, is forecast to have cost of well below $500 a ton. So they'll be able to undercut that company that we talked about earlier. Mr. Freemuller aims to cut this below $100 within 5 years. That is far cheaper than an industry-wide forecast of $300 to $400 by BCG, a consulting firm. As this new market matures, nascent firms and technologies will have to evolve quickly or die out. Ooh, evolve quickly or die out. Who says that all the time? That sound familiar? People gonna have to evolve quickly or die out. Glad I ain't the only one that says that kind of mean stuff. So now here's my question for you guys. How do you all think that Kenya should take advantage of that opportunity? Because that's a pretty pretty good opportunity. I think that they need to make sure that they protect their business interests, protect them from the rest of the world, hoard it. Do not allow other people to be involved in that. And if you do allow them to be involved in that, allow them to be involved at a minimum, at a very bare minimum. What do you guys think about this? Now, here's my question. How many of you guys have heard about any of these events right here? Banks want Africans buying from each other with their own money. How many people have heard what's going on with the financial system on the continent of Africa? If you guys have heard, give me a thumbs up. If you guys haven't, then give me a thumbs down. This is what's happening with it. Afrim's bank aims to cut US dollar reliance for regional trade. More and more people are looking to cut the United States dollar. Why? So here's the thing. We all know this. We see this. We talk about it all the time. So now here's my question for everybody that's watching this video. We know that the rest of the world is trying to phase the dollar out. My question is, what are you doing about it? What are you doing to deal with it? This is what these people are doing to deal with it. Countries trade far more externally than within the region. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Is that a problem? Is that an issue? Countries trade far more externally than they do within the region. What that means is that they're trading outside far more than they're trading inside. What do you all think that that's doing for the economy there? Yeah, I agree that that's a problem. Why is it a problem? Let me know what you guys think. A Pan-African payment system that would allow African nations to trade among themselves using their own currencies is gaining momentum. Now that's a good thing, right? Now, here's my question. How come you haven't heard about this in the mainstream media? Or have you? Let me ask that question. Have you heard about this in the mainstream media? If the mainstream media is talking about this, give me a thumbs up. If they're not talking about it, then give me a thumbs down. Shout out to my man DJ Elmo. What's good with it, bro? Why would they not talk about this in the mainstream media? They don't talk about this kind of stuff too much at all. You think they like the fact that their dollar is dying? I don't think I think they're too arrogant to be worried about it, to be honest. The African Export-Import Bank expects 15 to 20 countries to have joined the Pan-African Payment and Settlement System by the end of the year. Afrimix Bank President Benedict Omar said in an interview ahead of the leaders' annual meetings in Accra, Ghana's capital, that runs Sunday through June 21st. The platform has started commercial operations with 9 countries signed up so far, he said. The system, known as PAPSS, is using dollar exchange rates for now, said Orama, who bank funds the system. But we are working with central banks to develop an exchange rate mechanism that would allow Africa's 42 currencies to be convertible among themselves. What we are doing is to domesticate intra-African payments, he said. Now, let me ask you all a question. Is that a good thing for Africa or a bad thing? If that's a good thing, give me a thumbs up. If it's a bad thing, then give me a thumbs down. And let me know why you think what you do. The vast majority of Africa's intra-regional trade is done through conversions to the dollar. So as you can see, the dollar is the infiltrant, where the United States always extorts everybody. That's one of the reasons why a lot of these places are trying to get rid of the dollar. That's why a lot of these places are trying to stop their reliance on the dollar because of stuff like that. Initiatives like PAPSS and the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, which could create the world's largest free trade zone by area, seek to boost international trade by reducing barriers, including the need for intermediaries such as the US dollar. Basically, what that means is to cut out the middleman. And I agree, the middleman should absolutely be cut out, especially if it has ties to Europe or the United States. Would you guys agree? Honestly, China too. China needs to be cut out as well. The free trade zone and payment system are ambitious projects in fragmented region of 54 countries with different languages, currencies, and regulations. Now, if you ask me, what they need to do is they need to standardize some of that stuff and use the continent of Africa to create their own economic bloc, like how the EU did, and then create supply chains and do most of their peer-to-peer consumer transactions within the continent. Any kind of exports that they do, they need to hike the tax up as high as they possibly can for the rest of the world. African trade more outside the continent than among themselves, which makes no sense. Does that make any sense? That doesn't make any sense. It does make sense with the way that the world is. It doesn't make sense in terms of practicality. Africa has everything to be able to trade within itself, but the issue is the manufacturing. So they kind of have an inefficient supply chain. They should increase the efficiency of their supply chain, if you ask me. Yeah, I gotta agree with AB Promotions. AB Promotions says, "Uh-oh, Africa is waking up." Yeah, big facts. With just 17% of exports going somewhere else within the region, according to McKinsey, a Global Institute report published this month. That excludes informal trade, which is difficult to quantify. It's not that difficult to quantify. It's difficult for Bloomberg to quantify it. Africa isn't alone in looking for ways to break its dependency on the U.S. currency. This is the part where everybody should be paying a lot of attention. You guys should pay very close attention to this part. There has been a de-dollarization push across emerging markets, including India's effort to clear trade through the rupee, Sweden's SEB, AB said in a May 2nd note. China and Malaysia have played with the idea of an Asian monetary fund, while Brazil and Argentina announced a project for a common currency called the SIR. How many people knew about that? If you all knew about that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys didn't know about that, give me a thumbs down. These alternatives are unlikely to unilaterally dethrone the dollar as the global reserve currency. SEB chief EM strategist Eric Meyerson wrote, without referring to PAPSS. But if emerging markets are instead more interested in simply reducing their relative dependence on the US dollar, as well as finding alternatives as a potential hedge against the West's weaponization of sanctions and other economic measures, there are signs that they may be achieving some results. So everybody is aware of the hustle. Shout out to Ash Kiro Moxie. What's good with it, Moxie? Everybody is aware of the hustle. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's aware of it, and people are getting tired of it. Now, let me ask you guys a question. If most of the emerging, what happens if all of the emerging markets start to wake up and then they create an emerging market economic block? And that entire economic block of emerging markets says we want to get away from the dollar. What happens then? What do you guys think will happen then? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys haven't smashed the like button, shout out to the people watching on YouTube. We got 15 likes and we got 17 people watching. If you guys could smash that like button and hit the bell, share the stream to your social media. And shout out to the people who are watching on Rumble. On Rumble, we have 6 people watching and we got 4 likes. If we could get up to 10 likes on Rumble, and if we could get over 20 likes on YouTube, that'd be great. So please make sure you guys smash that like button and share the video from wherever you're watching at. But if emerging markets are more interested in simply reducing their relative dependence on the dollar, as well as finding alternatives as a potential hedge against the West's weaponization of sanctions and other economic measures, there are signs that may be achieving that they may be achieving some results. Orama bucked against the idea that PASS might seek to bypass the dollar. We're not bypassing anybody, he said. Not the dollar, not the yuan, not the euro. That's not the objective of the project. It does, though, aim to cut dollar reliance over time. Afremex Bank is budgeting $3 billion to clear trades so that anybody requiring dollars will get their dollars, Orama said. As in intra-regional trade picks up, the hope is that the net settlement position after clearing should return to zero so that there will be no need to pay any dollar to anybody. The Bloomberg Dollar Spot Index, which tracks the performance of a basket of 10 leading global currencies versus the dollar, has declined 2% so far this year. Half of the 10 worst performing currencies in the world have been African, including the Nigerian Naira, Angolan Kwanza, Burundi franc, and the Egyptian pound. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Do you think that that's by design? If you think that that's by design, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think that that's by design, give me a thumbs down. Let me know what factors it is that caused that. If you ask me, it's by design. We can go into that, and we probably will eventually in later episodes, okay? We'll probably go into that in later episodes. Ashkiro Moxie says it's by design. If you guys agree with her, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to Lehman Lucas. What's good with it, bro? So now here it says the depreciation of many African currencies has added to the region's inflationary pressures, which in turn spurred tighter monetary policy with higher interest rates at home, in addition to the increased cost of external debt. The creation of a concessional loan window, which will allow the bank to blend its own resources, is among the tools being deployed to cut borrowing costs, Omara said. Afremex Bank shareholders will vote on aspects of this window during this week's annual meetings. Okay. But the ultimate relief would be a new injection of reserve assets from the International Monetary Fund, he said, adding to the voices of African leaders clamoring for fresh support. What will work best is for accessing funding to improve the system overall, he said. That's why it is very important for the IMF to issue new special drawing rights. All right. So what it seems like to me is that the African countries are starting to wake up and understand the European and Asian exploitation that's going on. And they're trying to do something about it. It seems like they're trying to do something about it. Ashkiro says Nigeria is very corrupt. The Arab Spring and instability of the Francophone nations after the fall of Libya has weakened their currencies. Yeah, it's also probably weakened their political stability too, as well. Wouldn't you say? In many cases, the weakened political stability is part of what causes the currency declines. Would you guys agree with that? The weakened political stability is in many cases what causes the currency decline. You know what I mean? So how many people have heard of the element called lithium? Shout out to my man Jay Bird. What's good with it, bro? If you guys have heard of the element lithium, give me a thumbs up. If you guys haven't heard of the element lithium, then give me a thumbs down. And for those of you guys who have heard about the element lithium, I need to know what it's used for. My bad, you guys. I'm trying to add everybody on that's in here as a moderator. Let me see. Hold on real quick. Give me 2 seconds. Give me 2 seconds. All right, I think I got everybody. All right, yeah. So anybody that comes after you guys, they just SOL. They just SOL. You know what I'm saying? How many people knew about this? Nambia seeks to tap resource potential after lithium ore ban. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Who is it that banned the lithium ore? Who did that? And why would they have done it? People also use lithium for medication, right? Probably most people here in the United States, it wouldn't hurt them if they took a little bit of lithium every morning, right? African nation wants to process metals and minerals. Al Window says policy to create jobs won't deter investors. So a lot of these nations here, they're trying to regain control over their economies and over their natural resources there. And what I think wouldn't be a bad idea is for people like us to pay attention to the investment opportunities and, possibly do some investing over there directly with the companies, not with organizations, the financial organizations, the stockbrokers or anything like that. Direct. That's how you get that whole vertical integration that DJ Elmo talks about. Nambia is pushing ahead with plans to seek more value from metals and other resources it produces, despite criticism that the policy will deter foreign investors. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Why would the policy deter foreign investors? Is it because it won't be allowing Europe to wallow in money like a pig in mud? Is that why that might happen? Is that why they might be a little bit upset? The Southern African nation last week banned exports of unprocessed lithium and other critical minerals used in clean energy technologies. Isn't that something? Maybe some of these people messed around and listened to Black Light Revelations. I highly doubt it. But I mean, regardless of whether they listen to my content or not, if you ask me, this is just common sense stuff. So the fact that they decided to adopt common sense, congratulations. Congratulations. DJ Elmo says, yeah, vertical integration. Now, DJ Elmo, do me a favor in the comment section. How many people know what vertical integration is? Anybody that knows what vertical integration is, put the definition in there. Mines and Energy Minister Tom Alwindo defended Nambia's policy of adding value, saying a stronger industrial base would enhance the country's appeal to investors while creating jobs. Okay. I think that would be better for investors too. And I think that the best kind of investment would be the investment in the people that live in the region, being able to benefit from that company and from the revenues that it generates. I think that's the best thing. You know what I'm saying? What do you guys think? Without some of these minerals being processed on our continent, in our countries, there is no way we are going to industrialize. And I agree with that. Now, my question is, why was it like that at all? Ever? You know what I'm saying? Why was it ever like that? That makes sense for that to be like that? It really shouldn't be like that. They should have been controlling it from the jump. Don't you guys think? So I think that another thing that people really should start to look at is, why were things the way that they were if nothing happened as the rest of the world claims? Because the rest of the world claims that nothing happened. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we got 19 live viewers on YouTube. Shout out to the people watching on YouTube, and we got 17 likes. If you guys haven't smashed the like button or hit the bell, please take a moment and do that. Shout out to the 5 people that we have watching on Rumble. If you all over there haven't hit the like button and hit the follow button, make sure that you guys please do that. Window said in an interview in his office in Nambia, capital Windhoek, we need to get more out of our resources. I agree. Now, the rest of the world, Europe and Asia, will try to hop all over this and say, he's being greedy. He's being greedy. But no, this is exactly what needs to happen. They need to get way more out of their resources. They've been giving the world a free handout long enough. The rest of the world has eaten off of Africa for free for long enough. If you guys agree with that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Resource nationalism. Well, what do you know? Resource nationalism is strengthening across the world as developing countries seek a greater share of the profits from soaring commodity prices, while addressing historic inequities in wealth flows from the mining. Resource nationalism sounds like some people out there are starting to figure out that in a world full of evil people that call themselves heroes, the only way to survive is to embrace villainy. That's what it sounds like to me. Didn't I tell you that they should have always national socialized the resources and kicked all the intruders and violators out? Or buried them there? Whichever. You can either go back to your country or you can have your funeral here, whichever one you want. The choice is yours, but don't act like this isn't a democracy because we gave you a choice. In Chile, the #2 lithium producer, President Gabriel Boric is looking for a bigger share of the mining windfall to fund schools and hospitals. Mexican President Andres Manuel Lopez, operator, claimed lithium is too strategic for private investors. So the Mexican government just basically took their lithium. Nambia has significant deposits of lithium. Why is it that all of these African nations have significant deposits of all of these things that the rest of the world can't function without, and somehow they're not benefiting from having all of those reserves? Now, it's funny how when you look at these situations and you ask these kind of questions, the mayo-splaining that you get. Oh, well, those people are just dumb. But then when you look, there's all kinds of complicated and interwrapped economic policies that restrict manufacturing, that restrict purchase on self-reliance, all kinds of weird legislation to cripple these countries from being able to benefit from their own natural resources. Look at this. You guys see what Moxie says? They tried to nationalize in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. but those leaders in the Congo and West Africa got assassinated. Shout out to Drevlock. Drevlock says the development of multiple economic community currencies may lead to a return to the gold standard from the United States. Yeah, it might. Yeah, and if you guys agree with Terrence, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. So now here it says Nambia has significant deposits of lithium, a battery metal that's pivotal to the electric vehicle revolution. So now as the world moves to a green world, you guys remember the environment content that I used to do on Blacklight Revelations 4? If you guys remember those environment videos that I used to do on Blacklight Revelations 4, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't remember those, give me a thumbs down. See, now all of that stuff is coming back. It never went anywhere. You know what I'm saying? But it's coming back. So now here it says, as well as rare earth minerals such as dysprosium and terbium used in magnets and wind turbines. The country's lithium, look at this, the country's lithium industry could be close to worth $1 billion a year, according to Nambian wealth manager Simonis Storm Securities. Output will only start to ramp up from 2025. Now, let me ask you all a question. Is this a good future investment to look into? Now, here's my question, right? People might ask these questions. Well, when you talk about a lot of the things that you talk about, you always talk about them from a financial or from a business aspect. You guys ever notice that? I don't really talk about the content in the same way that other people talk about it. I always talk about it from a business standpoint. Do you all notice that, or a financial standpoint? And the reason why I do that is because if the major issue facing us is quote unquote economic or quote unquote monetary or quote unquote businesses, then if you ask me, that's the best way to address all the existing issues. Not making picket signs, not screaming into microphones, not going viral on TikTok and Twitter. Difference in philosophy, I guess. You know what I'm saying? The move by Nambia follows a decision in December by neighboring Zimbabwe to ban the export of lithium ore. See, they need to ban the export of everything. And once they get that clean air apparatus fixed up in Kenya, they need to ban the export of breathable oxygen. You guys agree? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know that rat-faced moron is paying attention to it. DJ Elmo says, I bet you your dollar Elon Musk is paying attention to this and will grab his South African passport and travel to the country. Oh, yeah. You got to keep people like him out. Russia banned a lot of oligarchs. I would advise Africa, South Africa especially, to revoke his citizenship. Any non-African oligarch should have their citizenship revoked and they should be deported back to the countries that they're from. If you guys agree with that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. The move by Nambia follows a decision in December by neighboring Zimbabwe to ban the export of lithium ore and allow only concentrates to be shipped. Zimbabwe wants to promote local production of battery-grade lithium and is considering taxing exports of concentrate. And considering taxing exports of concentrate, anything leaving, think about this. The only thing that they ever taxed for in Africa was our descendants that they exported. Yeah, go ahead, tax this. You know what I'm saying? Tax this. Africa needs to be proactive in maximizing its economic potential and after other nations generated the greatest benefits from its resources, Minister said. And I agree. While focusing on its goal of processing ore inside the country, Alwindo said Nambia will be flexible in allowing smaller quantities of the critical materials to be exported without value addition taking place. They just said something about value adding. You think these people listen to my content? Now, just saying. Like I said, I think the reason why people don't discuss extra political options to deal with political problems is because they have a necessity to maintain a certain level of ignorance in order for them to remain relevant. There's a lot of channels with the word Africa in them, and they don't talk about this kind of news. Just saying. Nations from the U.S. to China are rushing to secure supplies of lithium as the battle for strategic green metals intensifies. Africa should put a complete ban on lithium and maintain an iron fist on a lithium monopoly. They should have a complete ban on lithium. Only African businesses can use, manufacture, and export lithium too. No Elon Musk Industries, no EU anything, no French anything, no British anything, no United States anything. All black thing, like Jay-Z said. Shout out to my man Cameron over there on Rumble. Last month, the minister said Nambia was considering taking minority stakes in mining and petroleum production companies. The move would affect future projects rather than existing contracts. The arid Southwest African nation is one of the continent's biggest producers of diamonds and the #1 uranium miner. I mean, when we talk about this kind of stuff, we have to ask these questions. DJ Elmo says the African leaders may appoint you as a chief economic advisor. Nah, they're not going to appoint no Akata as no chief economic advisor. You know what I'm saying? they're not going to appoint no Akata as a chief economic advisor. And if you ask me, you know what I'm saying? They got it. They got it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Cameron. What's good with it, bro? So now we're going to check out something else. This is an article it's still talking about the mining and petroleum companies. All right. We just talked about lithium. Think about this. Think about this. How is it that there's so many resources, right? So many resources, yet so little money? By design. A little bit of backwards hustling mixed in. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep it a buck. A little bit of backwards hustling. You know what I'm saying? You know, people love their backwards hustling. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So now they're interested in taking stakes of the mining and petroleum companies. Let me ask you guys, what do y'all think about that? That's not bad, is it? Not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. Carl just said we may be fleeing to Africa and they may call us tethers. Hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm not about to go over there and demand that African people sell all their resources cheap to Europeans and Asians, because why are they giving everybody a hard time? I'm not gonna go over there and do that. You know what I'm saying? Not like how they tell us to just eat bullets and be quiet about it. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? Very different energy. Very different energy. You know what I mean? Nambia considers taking stakes in mining and petroleum companies. Country joins nations considering resource nationalism. So we're back to the resource nationalism. Now, how many people are there? Anybody on here? Any of the people watching? Does anybody watch the replay live streams or replay videos, even if they're not brand new? Like if a replay video comes up on your homepage, do you watch it if it's something that you haven't seen? If you guys do, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't, give me a thumbs down. Also, real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to everybody that is watching, wherever you're watching from. We got 17 likes on YouTube, and we have 16 people watching. If everybody could take a moment, smash that like button, hit the bell. Also, please share the stream. That would be great. And shout out to the people who are watching on Rumble. We got 11 people watching on Rumble, and we got 5 likes. If everybody could take a moment, smash that like button, hit the follow button, and also please share the stream to your social media. That would be great. All right. It's also contemplating setting up a mineral exploration fund. I don't think that would be a bad idea at all. I don't think that would be a bad idea at all. So now here it says Nambia is considering taking minority stakes in mining and petroleum production companies amid increasing concerns over local ownership of valuable resources. Now, why would there be increasing concern of local ownership of valuable resources? One thing that they're not telling you is that it's not the Nambian locals who own it. It's Asian and European implants. Would you guys agree? Asian and European implants own the resources, not Africans. But Bloomberg is trying to report this as if, this is an African issue. We are making the case that local ownership must start with the state, which holds ownership of our natural resources. Mines and Energy Minister Tom Alwindo told lawmakers on Monday the proposed state ownership should take the form where the state owns a minimum equity percentage in all mining companies and petroleum production, for which it does not have to pay, he said. So again, basically what they want is they want to nationalize the natural resources there. I'm glad that they're doing this. Now the issue would be they have to have leaders that are actually invested, not in simply just enriching themselves, because I'm not going to sit up here and tell you that they don't need to enrich themselves. If they're managing the country, hey, you know what I'm saying? They need to reap the rewards from it. It is what it is. But they also need to be invested in the maintenance and improvement of the economy. Would you guys agree with that? If you guys agree they need to be invested in the maintenance and improvement of the economy, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think that, then give me a thumbs down and let me know what you think their priorities should be if you disagree. Nambia is one of Africa's biggest producers of diamonds and largest of uranium. In February, Impact Oil and Gas Ltd said it will start a multi-well drilling program in the country with Total Energies SE, which discovered oil offshore last year. So, I mean, they just keep discovering resources in Africa. They just keep discovering resources. Now, the reason why I asked you guys if you listen to the older videos that pop up on your homepage or the older live streams is I want you guys to pay attention to recurring themes. I've continuously said and criticized Africa and said that they should national socialize the resources. National socialize the resources. National socialize the resources. Now think about other people that quote unquote national socialized things. I'm just saying. Now ask yourself why any of those things would have taken place. If you guys want to, you can put it in the comment section. Australian uranium company Paladin Energy Ltd plunged as much as 23% to its lowest price since August of 2021. The company gets all of its revenue from Namibia, according to Bloomberg compiled data. This white Australian company gets all of its revenue from Namibia. You see how Namibia just crashed it by stopping those exports? They need to do that with every single European company that they're involved with until the European companies renegotiate their deals. You will all crash. You know what I'm saying? The arid Southwest African nation joins others such as Zimbabwe, Brazil, Chile, Indonesia, Philippines, and Peru that are pushing for more value from their minerals or considering increased state intervention, partly due to higher commodity prices. Now, we talked about commodities during the Russia report, didn't we? Here's my question for you guys. Why did we talk about commodities during the Russia report? There was a reason for that. Remember, commodities tend to move opposite of fiat currency when it comes to valuation, right? So if you have a portfolio of investments, having commodities in there to wedge against inflation tends to be a helpful strategy, right? Tends to be a pretty helpful strategy. If you guys agree with that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs up. That's something that we see, or give me a thumbs down. That's something that we see very often, right? The country is also contemplating creating minerals exploration fund, which could be financed by a portion of the royalties paid by mining and petroleum companies to the state, Alwindo said. The fund will be used to support local entrepreneurs who want to invest in the mining sector, he said. Okay, so that's it. That's it. Now, let me ask you guys a final question. These changes that Africa is making, will these changes improve the economy? Will these changes make the economy worse? And here's the even better question. Do you see opportunity for yourself based on some of these changes that Africa is making? And if you do, make sure that you guys leave it in the comment section, as well as your opinion on this question. Have African nations decided to embrace villainy? So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice, smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers. When you guys leave comments, if you watch on the replay, please timestamp where you're commenting at, and I will catch you all on the next one. All right, peace.